Have you ever felt like your peace was shattered by someone's absence? Their silence cutting deeper than any words could. Their indifference weighing on you like a heavy cloud. That's the subtle, often unnoticed power of attachment. It's like handing someone the reins to your inner world, letting them decide when you rise, when you fall, and when you feel whole. Slowly, without even realizing it, you become a prisoner to their choices, their actions, their moods. But what if I told you that you don't have to live like this? What if you could reclaim your peace and strength? Break free from the emotional chains that bind you. The Stoics warned us long ago, you have power over your mind, not outside events. But how many of us give that power away, letting others control our emotional state? Detaching from people, especially when it's painful, isn't about turning cold or heartless. It's about remembering who you are beneath the layers of other people's influence. It's about reclaiming your inner peace, your sense of self-worth, and your autonomy. It's about breaking the chains that you never realized you forged. If you're ready to explore how to truly let go and step into a life of clarity, peace, and strength, hit that subscribe button. This isn't just about watching a video. It's about choosing to transform your life one step at a time. Together, we'll embark on this journey of self-discovery grounded in Stoic wisdom and the power of detachment. Emotional attachment is a curious thing. It starts off so subtly, so innocently, a smile, a shared moment, a gesture that feels like connection. Over time, you give pieces of yourself away, often without realizing it. It seems harmless at first, but little by little, you begin to lose track of where you end and the other person begins. You tell yourself that love requires sacrifice, that it's normal to give part of yourself away for the sake of someone else. But what happens when you give too much? When your happiness, your peace, your emotional well-being becomes tied to someone else's actions or absence. The more you give, the more you lose. You start to shape your world around their needs, their moods, their silence. What once felt like love slowly transforms into dependency. Their behavior dictates your emotional state. The silence from them feels like a weight. You begin to wonder, who am I without them? Their choices start control when you rise, when you fall, and when you feel whole. It's easy to lose sight of yourself when you're so focused on another person. But here's the truth. Attachment, when it goes unchecked, becomes a quiet prison. When we tie our worth to someone else's behavior, we give away our power and we allow them to control our happiness, our peace, and our emotional state. But here's where the Stoic wisdom can be a guide. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us that we can only control what's inside of us. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Yet, how often do we forget this? How often do we let someone else's actions or presence determine our emotional state? Emotional attachment in its purest form is an emotional contract that we enter into when we allow someone else to dictate how we feel. Detaching, however, isn't about pushing people away or becoming emotionally numb. It's not about becoming cold or uncaring. Detachment is about reclaiming your inner peace. It's about regaining control over your emotional world. It's about remembering that your worth doesn't depend on anyone else's validation, on their behavior, or their presence. Instead, it lies within you. The Stoics believe that true freedom comes from within. By letting go of attachments that drain you, you can find your own strength and clarity again. It's about stepping back from a hold someone else has on your emotional well-being and reasserting your control. Letting go doesn't mean abandoning love. It means that you no longer attach your happiness to someone else's actions or absence. It means that you no longer base your emotional state on their silence or presence. And surprisingly, it's not as painful as it sounds. When you detach, you're not losing the person. You're losing the emotional dependency that made you feel incomplete without them. The key to detaching is recognizing that your emotional freedom lies in your ability to stand on your own. It may seem difficult at first, but once you start, the layers of dependency that you build up over time begin to peel away. As you detach, you realize that the control you thought they had over you was never theirs to hold. It was always yours. And when you take that back, the chains that bound you, those emotional patterns start to fall away. What you thought was love may have been an illusion. What's left is your own sense of self, your own inner strength, and your ability to stand alone without feeling incomplete. As you begin to detach, you won't feel empty or heartless. On the contrary, you'll start to feel more whole than you ever have before. And when you release someone from having control over your emotions, you make space for a deeper connection with yourself. You start to rebuild your own worth, not through someone else's eyes, but through your own. Detachment isn't rejection of others. It's a reclaiming of your own power and peace. So why do we attach ourselves so deeply to others even when it hurts us? Why do we allow someone else to have that much influence over our lives? The answer lies in understanding that attachment is rooted in fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of not being good enough. Fear of losing the connection we've worked so hard to build. But once you begin to detach, you'll see that the things you fear losing are not as vital as you once thought. You're not losing love, you're gaining freedom. And that freedom will allow you to love not from a place of need, but from a place of abundance and self-respect. Detaching isn't about rejecting others. It's about rejecting the emotional chains that make you dependent on someone else. The power to reclaim your peace is within you. It always has been. The moment you realize this, you'll stop waiting for someone else to give you the peace you deserve. You'll start building it within yourself. When you look inward, when you detach from the external forces that dictate your worth, you find your true self. And that self is more than enough. Think about the last time you clung to someone who didn't value you. At first, it feels like you've lost something irreplaceable, something that held meaning, something that made you feel whole. The weight of that loss can feel unbearable. It's as if you've lost a part of yourself. And the emptiness they leave behind feels like a hole you'll never fill. But in reality, what you've lost isn't the person themselves. It's the fantasy you created around them, the illusion that they were the one who could make you feel complete, the dream you built about what they would become in your life. This fantasy is what keeps you locked in an emotional cycle, telling yourself that if you just hold on long enough, things will change. But here's the hard truth. When you let go of them, you're not just letting go of the person. You're letting go of the dream of who you hoped they would be. The moment you release that illusion, the weight begins to lift. It may feel like you're losing something at first, but what you're actually gaining is clarity. It's like wiping away a fog that's been clouding your judgment, and suddenly everything comes into sharper focus. The fog of fantasy can make you believe that love is enough to make someone change or grow into the partner you've envisioned. But love in its truest form isn't about changing someone else to fit your needs. It's about accepting them for who they truly are, even if that means letting them go. Carl Jung once said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." The key to letting go is not in the person's absence, but in your ability to choose a path that no longer depends on them. The more you hold on to a person who doesn't value you, the more you betray yourself in the name of love.